talk about a quick serve meal. Like, what's the difference between a quick serve meal and a sit down meal?
It's the resort refillable mug. I have so many of them now. It makes you pause for a hot second and then please don't drink that fast and don't choke. And then you can go back and refill it.
Me and I like nighttime snacks. Let's just be honest. And we like to have fresh
We like snacks no matter what time of day.
Yes, we do. So, but especially when we've been at the park all day, we like to go back and have snacks.
People always ask, I don't know about you, the number one question I get asked from clients is they're like, is it worth it? And I'm like, part of that depends. So once you get home and you're experiencing the Disney blues and you're like, I just miss my Mickey shaped food. Then I sit and eat my Mickey Rice Krispie treat and it makes me feel at least a little bit better.
Welcome to Goofy Getaways with your hosts, Amy Blades and Amy Fisher.
Hello, and welcome to the Goofy Getaways podcast. I am Amy Blades, the owner and CEO of Goofy Getaways, which is a travel agency that is located in Michigan. However, we have over 40 agents spread out across the whole United States. And I am joined today by my partner in crime, who I will let introduce herself. But my partner is...
I am Amy Fisher. So I'm the other Amy. I'm our Vice President of Communication and Development.
A lot of times people think we're like the same person, but you can see clearly.
We are not the same person. Now, don't get me wrong. Are we together? And we're also together a lot. So it's fair that like people get a little mixed up sometimes. Yeah. But we're not the same person, but we do both love Goofy Getaways and planning travel for you all. We're enjoying doing this podcast episode for you, which is sponsored by our travel agency, Goofy Getaways. And today I'm kind of excited because one of our listeners actually sent this topic for us. They were like, you guys need to talk about dining plans. They were like, you need to explain dining plans.
I thought maybe you were excited because it's food. And Amy, who's a size 2, loves food. And me, that's, a size whatever I am. It's like, that's what I thought you meant, because it's food.
I do love food. And I love the dining plan, if that's going to tell you where this is potentially headed. But somebody had said, they were like, hey, I would love to hear a podcast episode where you all break down what the dining plan is and is it worth it or is it not? Which is always a very entertaining, loaded question, isn't it?
Let's do it. I think it depends what travel consultant that you talk to, but I think you're going to get the same thing from both of us today. But yeah, let's do it. I love that we have people that are like requesting to hear certain things. That is fantastic. We're having so much fun doing the podcast. And it came as a request for us to do this. And so as much as we love each other and we definitely have conversations like this all the time, it's really fun to be able to share with you and have just have a new audience of people that are finding out about Goofy Getaways and booking their trips with us, but then also listening to kind of our opinions. And, we definitely want to hear what it is that you want to hear, because that's truly why we do what we do. So yeah, I'm excited about the podcast, but I'm excited that this is like our first request and it's about food. So, all right.
Right. So it's going to be a win-win conversation.
Yeah.
So let's start off though. Amy, why don't you give people just like a really quick overview of what are the dining plans?
Yeah, for sure. So dining plans, I want to go back just a little bit pre-COVID, were hot. I mean, pretty much every single package that I booked, everybody had dining. Everybody was loving waiting for like when Disney would release free dining. Sometimes it was like a huge like booking incentive, and they used to have more options than they do now. I was so thankful when they brought it back after COVID. I'm so glad that we're doing this podcast today, Amy, because I think that people kind of got out of the habit of having the dining plan, forget that it's available, all of those things. So the dining plan is back. And there are 2 options that you can have now. So basically, I will tell you what those 2 options are, but it's where you pay for your food, your meal plan before you travel. The thing that I always say to clients that I love, and my husband used to always say, is that it feels like it's an all-inclusive, like you're not going to get nickel and dimed when you get there. Are you still going to have to spend some money on some other things? 100%. However, it's really nice to know that that big chunk is paid for. And there is a savings. Believe it or not, we have compared when we have used the dining plan, when we have not used the dining plan, and there really is a significant difference. So it just depends on the type of food that you like to eat. and the way that you like to travel. So the two options that they have right now is the quick serve dining plan, which focuses mainly on quick serve meals, snack. You get your Disney mug. I think we'll get into that a little bit more. I'm sure. And then there is the Disney dining plan, which is a quick serve, a sit down, a snack, and then of course like your Disney mug that you get. That's like, I don't know. We always get it every time we go, and I think it's like $24 or something
It's
like
the
that.
resort refillable mug. I have so many of them now.
We use them every time that we're there because it just makes sense. I have been asking for like, I don't know, a year or two now since they announced dining coming back. I wish that they would let people fill them up at the parks, but that's a whole different conversation for a different time because now
I
it's
agree.
just the resorts. But
For sure.
so that's just a little bit of an overview of like kind of what the dining plan kind of encompasses, and then the two options that you have. And I think it just depends on how you eat and how you like to eat and what type of trip
Right.
that you're going on. And are you someone that's going to go and you don't want to stop to eat? Are you someone that likes to, have a really nice meal? So it just kind of depends, but the way that it works and the way that it's priced out is that quick serve option is a little less expensive than the dining plan option, but that's for good reasons. So is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So I'll
yeah.
add to that by saying, right, so only guests who are staying at an official Walt Disney World resort are allowed to add the dining plan to their packages. So you need to be staying at one of the official Disney hotels. It is not available for offsite locations, or like if you're ticket only, you can't add the dining plan. So it's a very nice benefit if you're staying at Walt Disney World. And like Amy was saying, it gets included with your package. So when you add the dining plan, when you book your package, you still just pay your $200 deposit, and then you pay you can make payments along the way, or you can pay final payment 30 days before you go, but then your food is basically all paid for ahead of time.
Other than the gratuity, just a reminder, if you're getting a meal plan, just a reminder that for
Yes.
if you do the dining plan that has a sit down meal, you do have to pay for your gratuity,
Yes.
just a little.
Correct. Yeah. And if you're choosing to eat something that's not included on the dining plan, then obviously you would pay for that. The credits, so the way that it's set up is that you get so many credits like front loaded on the day that you check into your Walt Disney World resort. You're going to get those credits front loaded into, like, you can actually see them in your My Disney Experience app, which is great. And it'll tell you, like, if you have the Disney dining plan, it'll tell you how many table service credits, how many snack credits, how many quick service, so on and so forth. And then it's credits per night of your stay. And when you add the dining plan, you do have to add it for all guests who are 3 and older. So if your children are under 3, they don't need the dining plan. The kids plan version is for kids ages 3 to 9. Once your kiddos hit 10, just like with ticket prices, then they are charged for the adult cost of the dining plan. So, but it's valid from the day that you check in, and it's valid until quote unquote midnight, the day that you check out. Basically, like, I think most restaurants close at like 9 or 10, but you can basically use it that whole length of your trip. If you want to use all your snack credits on one day, great. Like, you can do it that way, or most people spread them out, let's be honest.
Yes. And one thing to note, because, I think because of that mindset that it used to be, that it was different. The way that they did things was different. There were different options. They would let you kind of move around your credits, where you could do certain things to maybe have a meal instead of or vice versa, or you wouldn't do a meal, you do snack. But it's very set now. Like, what you get is what you got. And that's what you use it for. You use it for your snacks, you use it for your meal, so I just want to mention that too, because I've had a lot of people ask that, like, if they've changed it so much. I'm like, not really though. I mean, yeah, they did change. If you're someone that signature restaurants, I do miss the deluxe dining plan because we are a family that likes the signature meals. However, that was not super popular, which is why they got rid of it. So I still think it's a tremendous value for ease, especially, and just having it be added on from the beginning. But I just wanted to mention that.
So the Disney dining plan, I feel like, is probably the most popular. It includes one sit-down table service, one quick service credit, one snack per person per night of your stay. And then you also get the refillable mug for the full length of your trip.
Which we'll talk about because I'm all about that mug. But
I'm
one thing
obsessed
to
with the
note
mugs.
that I like about the the Disney dining plan, I always try to have a client do, especially if they have, I like them to do it anyway, but especially if they have the meal plan, I like for them to do a character meal. It's one of those things their kids are going to remember forever. You're not having the huge lines, the characters are going to come to the table. And I like that is included in the meal plan.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Most character meals count as one. There are a few that are more, but like there's a couple that are 2, and there are a couple of meals that are not available as part of the dining plan. So for example, some of the restaurants over at Disney Springs, even though it's a sit-down meal and you can like book the reservation through Disney, they don't accept the dining plan. But again, your travel consultant can help you figure out.
Just going to say that's why you use a travel
which
consultant.
One to do.
Yeah. But just that's a huge perk for just food is expensive.
It is.
And I mean, I know just from living there, and we've talked before about my husband when he works there and we travel, and I love to be on Disney property for my business. And I mean, we're eating on property a lot, and so it adds up. And that meal plan, it really does. It's a savings.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the Disney dining plan. And then we have the quick service dining plan. So the difference is that instead of a sit-down meal, you get 2 quick service meals and 1 snack per person per night. And then again, you still get the resort refillable mug for the full length of your trip. Yeah. So that's kind of the bigger difference of, do you want to have multiple sit-down meals, right? So if you have a 6-night trip, you have 6 credits of sit-down meals if you have the Disney dining plan. And if you're like, we're just going to sit down one time, then maybe it doesn't make sense to add the Disney dining plan. It might make better sense to add the quick service dining plan.
And then even pay for like a character meal out of pocket. Like that's something you would help your client figure out. But let's talk for just a second, because I get this question a lot. Talk about a quick serve meal. Like, what's the difference between a quick serve meal and a sit down meal? Do you want to cover that?
Yeah,
I mean, we both can, but
I'll break it down. I was like, yeah, let's because let's be honest, I love talking about food. Pro tip, my friends, but like Animal Kingdom, the quick service meals there are the best. And they're a great value if you're on the dining plan. So a quick service meal, so if it's a kid's menu item, right? So the kids ages 3 to 9 are going to order a kid's meal, right? It's the actual kids meal. So that's straightforward. Versus an adult quick service meal, it's going to include an entree and a beverage with your meal. What I love, because let's just be straightforward, is that if you are somewhere that serves an alcohol beverage or an adult beverage, you can choose to have that be your beverage. However, I will also say, even if you choose not to drink alcohol, if you drink things like soda or you want any type of like a special lemonade or anything like that, those all still count as your beverage with your meal. So it's still an insanely good value, because a soda by itself is $4.50 now, I think.
Yeah, almost $5. Yeah. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah. So the quick service meal is going to include your entree and a beverage for an adult. And if you're mobile ordering through the app,
which you pretty much have to do,
it'll send you a reminder if you haven't added your beverage onto, like, it'll be like, before you check out, don't forget to add your drink. It's great. I love that piece when you're doing the dining plan.
And I think it just goes back to what type of trip that you're planning or you're wanting to do, or the way that you eat. There are times where, especially depending on the time of year that you go and what the weather is. Because I mean, there are times that we would book like signature meals every single night, and then we would get there and be like, holy mackerel, like we're not going to eat that much. And so it really kind of depends, and just knowing yourself, knowing your family, and especially when you're on vacation, it can be different. You can think, oh, we want it. Then there's times that we do still want to go sit somewhere in the air conditioning, or, depending on the time of the year. But yeah, it really just takes having that really candid conversation about what it is exactly that you're expecting from your trip. And I think like the longevity of your trip too, like how long you're going. For me, that kind of makes a difference on what packet, like which option you want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So can you explain for our listeners then, right? So I explained kind of what a quick service credit looks like. What does a table service credit look like?
Oh yeah. So table service is where you're going to have to make a reservation. So that's why I use a travel consultant. So you get the best reservations, best restaurants. You have to make your reservation a lot of times ahead of time. I will say I do love that they have changed the policy now where you can cancel a reservation up to 2 hours prior, because I see things that open a lot more. But still, having your ducks in a row, making sure you have your reservations. It is where you're going to go into a restaurant. You're going to actually sit down. You're going to have a server wait on you. That's really one of the biggest things, that you're going to have somebody that you're going to have to pay gratuity for them taking care of you. Right. So that is what a sit down is. Or
which you would pay that gratuity with or without the dining.
You're going to anyway.
If you're doing that meal,
that
just FYI.
Yeah, that was I'll tell you, that's something that I learned early on before I even had my own agency, and that was something a lesson learned for me. I had clients that I sent that were on a very, very tight budget, and I had just assumed that they would know they had to pay gratuity, and they had it was a free meal plan too that they had, and then when they got there, they didn't know, and they didn't anticipate having to pay for that. So to be honest, I sent them a gift card because I felt like I didn't do my job as so I always say that, and I've said it a couple times, and I don't mean to keep saying it.
But it is important for people to realize that if you're doing a table service, whether you're on the dining plan or not, you will need to pay gratuity, because this is the U.S. and
this is their job, and they have to
tip people.
Yeah, we have to tip people because that's how they make their money. For sure. And having kids that serve too, I think I'm a little more passionate about that. But that's really, that's what the difference is. It's just, I will tell you that the quality of food, depending on where you're going, there are some quick service meals that I would eat hands down over a sit down meal. And then of course there are some sit down meals that I think are better than quick serve. So it really just depends. I don't feel like the quality of the food is different. I think it's the type of environment that you want to be in and the type of service that you want to receive, based on what your food is.
Yeah. I want to explain a little bit more for people the table service credit piece for them. So we talked about, right, that you'll be at a restaurant with a server. So it does include a lot of the character meals, and a number of our character meals at Walt Disney World specifically are buffets. So that would mean it would include your buffet and a beverage. Again, it can be an adult beverage if you're an adult over 21. So that is an option for you. If it's a location that doesn't have a buffet or doesn't serve family style, then it's going to include your entree, your beverage, and a dessert, which is really nice. I will say, Amy mentioned, right, things have changed post-COVID. Pre-COVID, they used to sometimes let you swap out the dessert for an appetizer. That is no longer the case.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
So, however, y'all, desserts are Disney are delicious. So, but that's what's included. So it's a really good, truthfully, if you actually look at the cost and what you're getting, it's an amazing
we should talk about the mug for just a minute. I love the mug.
Yeah.
And the mug is, my gosh, I think if you, and the only reason I know this, so do we, every single time we go. And the only reason I know, because we were just there last week, and I actually looked because I was like, how much is it? And I think it was $22.99. So it's $23 now. If you buy that. So if you're doing the dining plan and you get one, you get one for each member of your family, that's obviously going to add up. So, and it's included as part of the package. That's really, really nice. And you can just refill those 24/7. Even if your quick serve place is closed, they still have the soda machines available to you.
And so you can do that at any resort. So that's the other great news is, I won't lie, I like to resort hop and wander around and do some of those things. I don't
food.
Right. Yeah. And so it's so you can take your resort mug with you to other resorts. So it's not that it only works at the resort that you're staying at. It works at any of the official Walt Disney World resorts at their quick service dining location. So love that you can do that.
Little
Amy
chip
was saying,
on the
coffee,
bottom of it
tea.
that gives them, that's how they know how long you have. And
And you can get a new refill. I think it's every 10 minutes, right? So you can fill it.
Yeah, you can fill it
and
up.
And then it makes you pause for a hot second and then please don't drink that fast and don't choke. And then you can go back and refill it. One of my favorite things to do is when I'm headed into the parks, I will often throw, let's be honest, I drive a rental car. So I usually keep my resort refillable mug in my car, but if not, it's going in my backpack. And when I get back to the resort at the end of the day, before I head back to my room, I just go ahead and go fill up that resort mug so that I have something fresh and
Amy
cool.
And I like nighttime snacks. Let's just be honest. And we like to have fresh.
We like snacks no matter what time of day.
Yes, we do. So, but especially when we've been at the park all day, we like to go back and have snacks. But Yeah, just it's not you. I think that they last 2 weeks now, and it used to be like a week. Like it used to be different, but now like when you get that mug, it lasts for like 2 weeks. So if you were someone that comes back, like say you're coming back next year and you want to bring your mug, they can reactivate it for you, but it is still going to be a charge. So you can't like use it after that. But yeah, you can use it any of the resorts for the.
And even if you don't do the dining plan, any guest can.
Yeah.
Like any guest staying at a Walt Disney World resort can go ahead and purchase a resort refillable mug. So they never got rid of those, I don't think, at all during COVID. And I won't lie, like I always, every trip, I'm a coffee drinker, and I'm usually 2 to 3 cups every morning. A cup of coffee at Walt Disney World, and I won't lie, it's not the most exciting coffee, but like their coffee is $4 a cup. And so I'm like, I pay for my coffee within a day and a half, no problem. So the resort refillable mug is a really nice value that you get with the dining plan as well. So, and again, they have things like Powerade, lemonade. So if you're like, well, we're not soda drinkers, that's okay. There's still lots of other beverage options. In fact, I feel like a lot of the resorts are recently switching to like the freestyle, the Coke
so
freestyle.
You can get like
machine.
high C, you can get, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they all go to that. We were actually at French Quarter last week and they had one. And then we were at Coronado several weeks ago and they did not, but I'm hoping that they're going to start to update those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been like kind of slowly doing that. So we've talked a little bit about the mug, but let's talk a little bit more about the math. Because I think, right, the big, like people want to know, and here's the funny thing is people always ask, I don't know about you, the number one question I get asked from clients is they're like, is it worth it? And I'm like, part of that depends, but you're probably going to be eating in the parks anyway. And so truthfully, I would say for a good chunk of people, you're going to be saving money. So I'm going to throw some numbers at you. Don't panic. All right. So for an adult, remember it's per night. Okay. So for an adult to add the Disney dining plan currently sits around $98. At the time that we're recording this, by the way, it's July 2025. Prices are always subject to change, but like, just so you're aware, it sits right around $98, a little bit below that, but I'm not going to give you like cents. Okay. Quick service dining plan for an adult is about $60. It's again, so $60 would be 2 quick service meals, a snack credit, and your resort refillable mug that's valid the length of your stay. So you have that piece of it. Now here's where the real value, I won't lie, I do adults only trips and I add the dining plan almost every time that I go. However, here's where the true value comes in. When you have kids ages 3 to 9, okay? The kids' Disney dining plan is about $31 per child. 31. Okay? Now, so the majority of character meals for kids on Disney property start at $35. You are already saving money. Because remember, with the Disney dining plan, even for kids, they're going to get a table service meal, which is what your character meal is, a quick service meal, and a snack.
Yep.
You're paying less for the dining plan than you are for that one table service credit.
Yeah. I know.
So
to me, there's no question. I don't.
If you have children ages 3 to 9, you're already going to save money, like hands down. I don't know how
and
you
especially
wouldn't save money.
Yeah, and next year that's kids dine for free.
Yes.
So
if you have, if you pay for the dining plan for everybody 10 and older, then children 3 to 9 get it for free. So you're only paying for the adult part of the dining plan. It's like, oh my gosh, again, massive, massive savings. Let's be very frank. Food at Disney is not cheap, right? So we said a kid's table service meal. So for example, I pulled like 1900 Park Fare. Again, it's July 2025. Current pricing, $37 for a child to do the character meal breakfast at 1900 Park Fare.
How much for adults, just out of curiosity?
For an adult, it's $58.
Yeah, so $60.
Right.
Just for the,
and that doesn't include your beverage.
You're
so
right.
if you're an adult and you do the $60, like you do $58, and then if you get, I'm going to be very honest, like even if you get like a mimosa with your breakfast, That's $12 usually, 12 to 15.
When you break it down like that, yeah.
I won't lie, I'm not the best math person, but every time I've had the dining plan, I won't lie, I think there was one time that I went to Disney and I was sick, so I didn't fully use my dining plan to my advantage. That was the only time that I did not save money on my dining plan. Every other time I've done it, I always have, and I don't even go with children, people. Like, I'm adult only, and I go. And I absolutely think that it's such a value, and especially if you go with kids.
Oh, I think without a doubt, with what the cost of food is, it just makes sense. I don't know why you wouldn't use it. And even though it's based on the nights that you are there, so when Amy was talking about the way that the meals work, it's based on the night that you're there. Say you decide that you want to go to a character dining that is 2 meal credits, you can still do that. Just know that it's going to take one of those meal credits. So one night you're going to have to pay out of pocket. So you're going to want to determine, would it be better to pay out of pocket for like that character meal, or is it going to be cheaper to go ahead and maybe just do like a quick serve one night and use that credit for the character meal on the dining plan. And your dining plan starts the day that you check in, and you can use it all the way until the night, like almost 11:59 the night you check out. So even if you're checking out, it doesn't mean that you can't use it that day. So you can use it for the
even though you
duration of
check
your stay.
out of your hotel room at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, it's still valid that entire day. So if your flight isn't until later in the day and you still have credits,
You definitely
one
can
of
use
my
them.
one of my favorite things to do, I actually purposely make sure that I have at least one snack credit left over on my last day, because I will go into the gift shop at the store at my resort and get one of the Mickey Rice Krispie treats to take home with me. So once you get home and you're experiencing the Disney blues and you're like, I just miss my Mickey shaped food, then I sit and eat my Mickey Rice Krispie treat, and it makes me feel at least a little bit better. It's not quite the same, but it still feels a little better. So you can use those snack credits for things that, like, great, like grab something that the kids can eat for a snack on the airplane if you didn't use every single snack credit.
That's what we always used to do too. If we were driving for the drive home, if we were flying for the kids, just have their little snack on the way home, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great option. It's a great value. It's a great option. I recommend it to everyone. You're going to pay for food while you're there anyway, so you might as well pay for it ahead of time. It is going to be a savings for you for sure. Disney does a really good job if you're staying on property, and if you don't drive, even if you do drive, I mean, if you're on property guest, you don't have to pay for parking. So if you do want to go to like a different resort where there's a restaurant or whatever, but they do a pretty good job of keeping people pretty secluded inside that Disney bubble. So I'm going to tell you that even if you're like, we're going to eat off property because we're going to be able to save money. No, you're not. And I know that because I live in Orlando part of the time. It is just as expensive or even more, even your chain restaurants. So unless you want that instead of the Disney dining experience, you're going to pay for food anyway, and it's not going to be cheaper if you're doing it off property. I promise you, that's just the truth. That's not.
And I think the other piece is people sometimes think they're like, oh, like when we get there, we'll go to a grocery store and yada, yada, yada. Unless you're staying in one of like the villas that has a full kitchen, probably not. And the other thing that a lot of people don't think about is it is very convenient to get around Disney property, but everything takes time. And so it's like, are you really going to leave the park to go back to your hotel room to go have lunch? Or are you really going to go through the effort of trying to like pack peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
It's a great thought.
You? Yes.
And
can you? Sure.
Yeah.
But like in the grand scheme of things, are you really going to save that much? Because now you're sacrificing time as well, trying to go back and forth to your resort or those kinds of things. I will say there are some instances where I don't recommend the dining plan. Oh, I'm guessing you're the same way, right,
what
Amy?
You say.
Okay. So I do have, sometimes I've had clients that have like special needs, people within their party, and that like someone within their party wouldn't eat, right? So they might have a feeding tube or like such severe allergies that they're not going to be eating at the restaurant anyway. Remember that when you have a package, you have to add it for everybody who's 3 and older. And so sometimes in those scenarios, it doesn't financially make sense for that family to add the diet. And again, I'll always have that conversation with them so we can figure out if it makes sense. The other thing I will say is because the adult cost for the dining plan starts once the kiddos turn 10.
Yeah.
If you've got a kid that's 10, 11, 12, and they're still like a really light eater,
Yeah, it might not be beneficial.
It might not be beneficial.
True.
So those are really like...
When you said something about allergies, as long as we're talking about the dining plan,
Yeah.
I do want to say, I think Disney, whether it's Disney Cruise Line, whether it's Adventures by Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, Alani, wherever you're at, I think Disney knocks any other destination they knock it out of the park. They take allergies so seriously, and a chef is going to come out and talk to you no matter where you're at. So if you're someone that does have allergies and you're a little nervous about it, you can even connect with someone before you travel that will help you walk through what your allergies are, and they'll be really honest with you if it's something that they can accommodate or not. And so in those situations, I always like to be really honest with people. Like, it's not going to be worth it for you, but if you're going to end up with just a chicken breast every single night with nothing on it. But yeah, it really just depends. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it depends on your allergies, but for sure. Again, I have allergies. I have family members that have allergies, and we still do the dining plan 99%
That's why I want to make sure
it's like there's so many good, safe options to be able to eat on Disney property, which makes it so much more fun. And again, you're like, I've already paid for it all ahead of time now. Like, you knew exactly what the cost was going to be. The only thing, if you do the Disney dining plan right, okay, you're going to have gratuity, and every once in a blue moon you might have like an extra quick service meal here or there. But I feel like it's really rare, because snack credits, you can get things that honestly are basically like a small meal.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Because people are like, oh, there's only 2 meal credits, right? Whether it's 2 quick service or 1 quick service and then 1 dining, like table service. And they're like, well, I eat 3 meals a day. And I'm like, don't worry. I've never gone hungry on the dining plan ever.
No.
Like, you get more than enough to eat.
Yeah. The options are incredible, I think. So, yeah. No, I agree.
I think it's delicious. Is there any other scenarios where you would be like, hey, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the dining plan? Or something for people to kind of think about? I still, even people that have littles, I'm like, but they're not really going to eat that much. And I'm like, but I'm telling you, for the adult yourself, it's going to be worth it. And just get some extra snacks or a quick serve that you can split with everybody. I try to just really kind of narrow it down for them. So there aren't a lot of situations that I personally don't recommend it to people, other than like that severe allergy. I just think it's worth it. You're going to be there. You're going to pay for it anyway. You're going to be paying out of pocket. It's going to be a lot more. To me, it's just an easy add-on. It's an easy yes, and then it's done. Again, I've done it. So I like almost every trip that I take, I do the dining plan. And I've never not saved money. And I will throw the other thing out there. The other thing people have said, they're like, well, I don't drink alcohol as an adult. Is the dining plan still worth it? Yes. Yeah. I actually had like done a TikTok a little while ago, and and it blew up, of course, because like I posted about the exact cost of breakdown. I just did 2 nights on the quick service dining plan, and I didn't drink any alcohol, and I still came out ahead on the quick service dining plan without even calculating how many refills I did in my resort refillable. No, I mean, I even think about like when I'm down there, when we live, because we're there part of the year, and you'll come down to visit. And sometimes you'll stay with us. Sometimes you'll stay on property and I'll come over and stay with you. But I mean, I even think about when you are on property and I come to see you every time. Now that, you usually do. You always have the meal plan, and then of course, whatever you do, then I'll add on to it. But yeah, you're pretty loyal to the meal plan, which I understand why. It is a savings. So yeah, don't let the fear of not eating, you're going to have to eat no matter what. It really is a savings. And I feel like you better too. Like, if you're someone that is adamant about, look, I really don't want it, I'm not going to push you to do it. I'm just going to give you the information and say, look, I think it's worth it. But if it's not something, and I've had people that have not done it, and then when I book their trip for the next year, they're like, hey, we actually saved some receipts and we're going to do it. So, and on the flip side of that, I've had people that have done the dining plan and come back and said, man, we could not eat. And a lot of times, though, that was my deluxe plan people that they don't have anymore. So I'm like, oh, yeah, in that case, you paid a lot of money. I just couldn't eat enough. And that was, I miss that. I do too, actually. But I like a nice signature meal. Ideal for me is to get up and have a nice breakfast. So that can be quick serve.
like a nice quick serve breakfast, hearty, and then have a little snack during the day, which would be like a lunchtime, and then like a signature meal for dinner. That's me personally. So that's what I loved about that deluxe
Well,
plan.
see, I love
Snack in the
a good
morning.
a character breakfast.
Yeah, see, I do.
Like,
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm like, I want a character breakfast every morning. That was,
And I love
that's
those
my
too.
favorite
You're
thing
right.
to do.
Yeah. And if
And
you
then
could,
I'll kind of have like a snack or a quick service meal in the middle of the day, or
that's what I loved
But then
about
I'm like,
that.
I want a nice sit down meal at
I know.
at dinner time.
I
And so I'm
know.
like,
This is why we travel well
Like,
together.
I do not have a problem using my dining credits ever. So yes. So in other words, we both think the dining plan is very much worth it. And again, your travel consultant can for sure have that conversation with you to help you understand, is it worth it for you, right? Because the blanket statement of, do you think the dining plan is worth it? The short answer should always be yes, to be quite honest. Because if you're just looking at math for 99% of the scenarios, you're going to save money with a dining plan. But are there different cases where it might not be that case?
So I just happen to think, I have a lot of clients that they'll stay at Walt Disney World and they'll do Disney World, but then they'll also add a couple days of Universal. Now more than it used to be, I have clients that are literally splitting their stay. So they'll stay at one property and then another. But for my clients that are at Disney and they're staying at Disney, but I know that they're still going to do 2 or 3 days at Universal, I do not recommend that for them because they're going to end up paying double for.
That's fair.
So that's the only other time. I was trying to like give an honest response to that, and I'm like, oh, you know what, that is a time also that I wouldn't, but any other time I recommend it.
Yeah, if you're going to be mainly on Disney property for for at least 90% of your trip, you're going to use the dining plan
for sure.
It's valuable for sure. All right. Well, I think
we did a pretty good job.
Is there anything else? I was like, is there anything else we need to say about the dining?
No, hopefully everyone's kind of all in on the dining plan. I know we're going to do our Amy's all in, which I'm not sure what Amy has a way of switching these up a little. I don't think it's going to be, are you all in on the dining plan? Because we're both pretty all in on it.
Because we're both all, we already knew that answer.
Yeah, I think other than doing our all in, hopefully we've given a lot of really good information. And you can also go to, our website and take a look and see the restaurants that are included. That's the benefit of booking with a travel consultant, is that we're going to let you know what's included ahead of time. I like to send that to my clients when they're making a decision if they want it or not. But yeah, hopefully we gave you kind of the nuts and bolts of it, I guess. And then we can always give more information if you are wanting to book a package with us, for sure. So
you can always drop questions and comments on, over on our YouTube underneath the podcast episode, or send us a message on social media and ask questions and things like that too. If you're like, hey, we need a part 2 of the dining plan, great.
Yeah, and then tell us what it is in part 2 that you want us to cover, because we can talk about restaurants. We can talk about dining all day long. I mean, we've been at every single one of the restaurants on property. I mean, I know I have been to every restaurant on property, just like every resort on property. And so, if you want us to kind of talk more about actual food and theming and restaurants, heck, we would love to do that too. But let us know what it is that you want to hear about that would help you make a decision on your trip, for sure.
Yeah. Which is going to lead us into our Amy's All In today.
Okay.
So hello, if you're new here, we're the Amy's, and every episode we do a little section where we say what the Amy's are all in about, usually related to the topic at hand. So because we're talking about dining plans and things like that, our all in today is that we're going to share what our favorite character meal is at Walt Disney World that is currently open. So I know you've done some in the past that aren't here anymore. I have too, but what is our current favorite character meal? And here's the other caveat I will give you. If you need to do a breakfast one and a dinner one, then you can have 2.
Okay. Yeah, I would do that. I would say, since you're going to give me the option, I will give you one of each. Hands down, though, in my opinion, hands down, my favorite character meal is Cinderella's Royal Table. That is 2 meal credits if you are going to do the meal plan. Absolutely worth it. absolutely worth it. The food, I've had it for breakfast. I've had it for dinner. It's delicious. I like what they offer for food. I love just the feel, the ambiance. I love, I'm a mom of all boys. We talk about that, and I'm all about princesses. And my middle son,
You're
Gavin.
inside the castle.
You're in the castle, and it's all the princesses, sometimes the fairy godmother. When Gavin, our middle son, was little, he was obsessed and loved Belle. He loved Belle so much. It was his favorite character for a year. I mean, he still likes Belle. I mean,
he still says, like,
she's
I've had these conversations. I'm pretty sure that's still
and
his
so
favorite.
I took him, with my best friend and her little girl. And we went, and he got to be a prince, and he got to see Belle, but there's things that they do that I don't want to say, but I mean, even for boys and girls both, but hands down, that is my favorite experience. But I will say, because I've had this multiple times. There are times that I've loved it and times I was like, ooh, I don't know. I just, about a month or two ago, had Tusker House for breakfast, and I love the characters, and the food was so good. I was really impressed. So I was really glad that I gave that another chance, because for breakfast, I would say Tusker House is my favorite right now. And then, for dinner or overall, I would definitely go with Royal Table. What about you?
Okay.
I want to hear. I'm kind of curious. I think I know.
This is also more fun because we both have different ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to start with my favorite character dinner, which is at 1900 Park Fair.
Okay.
This just recently came back. It is a buffet, which might be, if you've listened to our episodes or if you know me at all, you're actually probably surprised that I'm telling you that one of my favorite meals is a buffet. However, I love the characters that are there. So you can see like Tiana and Aladdin and Mirabelle and some of those characters that are a little more unique and rare that you can't always find in the parks, which I love. I loved the character interactions that happened there. And the food is so good.
The strawberry
Especially
soup is
like the fact that you don't feel like you're eating off a buffet. Mm-mm. Like that's how good the food is. Like it is excellent food.
Worth it.
And so it feels very much like it's
and I love
worthwhile.
That it's Tiana and her what is that considered? Because it's not. I think of her.
It's her Bayou Adventure outfit.
It's the adventure. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's her adventure outfit, and it's super cute, and it's just very much enjoy that. So they do breakfast there as well, but I think the dinner is better. So that's my favorite dinner. My favorite breakfast is Topolino's Terrace over at the Riviera Resort.
I love that one too.
That character breakfast. So you get to meet Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, and they're in Italian artist outfits.
Yeah, they're artists.
I will also say it is not a buffet, which I love. And to me, it's very high quality food items. So you can get steak and eggs, and you can get Mickey waffles, and they're delicious. But you can get a little higher quality breakfast food items and things like that. But the character interactions there are
good choice.
Amazing. So that's my favorite character.
And a hard one to get now. That's one of the harder ones to get.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
So I love that we both had different ones,
though. Yeah, I do too.
Now
that made me think, though, when I'm there next week, I might sneak over and have breakfast at Topolino's. Just, I might do that. I have to look. You and I need to do
Cinderella's Royal Table together, because that's another one of my I do that one a lot, and I love that restaurant.
I do too.
So we need to do that one.
That'll be maybe our next trip. I was
because I'm kind of surprised that we haven't actually done that one together.
I would agree.
So
yeah, I'm excited.
I like that.
All right, hopefully we've got everybody hungry and we've got them all wanting the dining plan. I think that's the best, but all right, we've talked about our all-in. We've talked about the dining plan. We've talked about if you want to book a trip with Goofy Getaways, reach out to us at our website, which is www.goofygetaways.com. And then, of course, you can always go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page and reach out, because we would love to help you plan a magical vacation with or without the dining plan. But we'll let you make that choice. So other than that, I think that we've pretty much got everything covered. So what I can say now is that Amy and we will see ya
real soon.
If you liked today's episode of the Goofy Getaways podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to follow Goofy Getaways on social media so we can lead you to the magic.